All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle the AURTA118 unit, and my goal is to help you level up, to go from feeling like a rookie to thinking like a pro diagnostician. We're going to break down just five core principles that are going to be your absolute foundation for success. You ready? Let's do this.
Okay, so let's put you in the hot seat. A car rolls in, it's got one of those, really tricky intermittent faults. The pressure's on. What's your very first instinct? What's that initial thought that pops into your head? Go on, think about it. Because that answer, it says everything about where you are on your diagnostic journey.
And right here, this is the fork in the road. The rookie reaction, you dive straight for the toolbox. You start swapping parts, basically just hoping to get lucky. But the pro? A pro does the complete opposite. They actually take a step back. They grab a pen, a pad, and they start asking questions. And that, right there, is the huge difference between just guessing and having a real strategy.
So what we're going to do today is unpack that pro's playbook. And look, these aren't just some boring rules you have to memorize for a test. No way. These are the 5 foundational principles that actually build an expert mindset. Once you master these, you'll be solving real problems, not just changing parts.
All right, step 1, and honestly, this is the bedrock of everything. Confirm the fault. The number 1 rookie mistake, the biggest trap you can fall into, is what I call the assumption trap. That's when you just take the customer story or the job card as 100% fact without ever checking it yourself.
And the process is pretty straightforward, really. First, you got to know exactly what the job card is asking for. But then, and this is the crucial part, you have to see it, hear it, feel it for yourself. Take that car for a drive, run it in the bay, do whatever you need to do to actually experience the problem firsthand, because only then can you really know which systems you need to start looking at.
Now listen up, because this is so important. This isn't just, good advice. It's a flat-out warning. I'm telling you, your assessor is going to be looking for this from the literal second you start the job. Skipping this first step, it is the absolute fastest way to misdiagnose the fault and fail your assessment. Period. Okay, so once you've confirmed the fault is real, we move on to step 2, build your strategy. Now, the temptation here, and we've all felt it, is to just start pulling out testers and poking around. That's the guesswork gamble, and man, is it a huge waste of your time and the shop's money. See, a pro builds a plan. They're like a detective. They're looking at all the clues, what the customer said, what the manufacturer data says, the service info, the flow charts. Then they do a really thorough look-see, a physical inspection for anything obvious, a loose wire or a split hose. It's only after gathering all that evidence that they come up with a logical step-by-step plan to test things in an order that makes sense.
And why does this matter so much? Well, having a strategy isn't just about looking smart. It pays off in big ways. You'll find the problem way faster. You'll stop yourself from tearing things apart that are perfectly fine. And this is a big one for your assessment. You create a clear paper trail, evidence that proves you used a structured, professional process. That's a massive tick in the box for this unit.
Okay, this next one, step 3, is maybe the most critical thinking skill of all. Find the cause. And the biggest mental mistake a rookie makes, it's confusing the symptom with the actual cause.
Let's make this super clear. The symptom is the what, right? It's the weird noise, the check engine light, the fact that the car feels sluggish. It's what the customer complains about. The cause, that's the why. It's the reason for the symptom, the bad sensor, the tiny vacuum leak, the worn-out part. Your job isn't to fix the what, it's to find the why.
And these examples here just nail it, don't they? A customer says they've got no power. That's the symptom. The cause could be a failing sensor. They complain about terrible fuel economy. That's the symptom. The real cause might be a leaky injector. See the pattern? You always have to dig deeper than what you see on the surface.
And here's the bottom line on why this is so critical. If you treat the symptom instead of the cause, you're just going to be throwing parts at the car that don't actually fix anything. And you know what that means? The customer comes back angry, your reputation takes a hit, and you've just wasted a whole lot of time and money. It's a lose-lose situation.
All right, on to number 4. Know your tools. This is all about getting past that classic rookie mistake, the one-tool-fits-all idea. Where you grab the scan tool thinking it's some kind of magic wand that's just going to magically point to the broken part. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's not. A real pro knows their tools like the back of their hand. It's not just about owning them. It's about understanding them. That means picking the right tool for the job you're doing, making sure it's actually working properly, and, this is the big one,
knowing its limitations, understanding not just what it's great at, but also what it's terrible at. And let's take the scan tool as a perfect example. Look, they're incredible pieces of kit, right? They give you fault codes, they show you live data, they give you clues, they point you in the general direction of the crime scene, but they almost never tell you why a sensor reading is off. A scan tool is your guide, it's not the detective.
And this is another huge trap when it comes to your assessment. If you use the wrong tool for the test, or you just don't understand the data the right tool is giving you, you're going to go straight down a rabbit hole. And you'll end up with a diagnosis that's completely wrong. So please, know your tools and know their limits.
And that brings us to our fifth and final step: report your findings. And the biggest rookie mistake of them all might just be this one: thinking that when you put your wrench down and the car is fixed, the job is done. Let me be clear, it is absolutely not done.
The job isn't finished with the fix, it's finished with the paperwork. A pro sees it through to the very end. You have to report exactly what you found, recommend the right repairs, do a final check to make sure you actually fixed it, and then you have to fill out all the documentation, neatly, accurately, every single time.
And if you remember nothing else, remember this quote. Honestly, this is the mic drop moment. You could be the most brilliant technician on the planet. You could find the problem in 5 minutes. But if your paperwork is vague, sloppy, or just missing, you fail. It's a straight-up fail for the assessment. It is that critical.
And remember, we're not just talking about passing a course here. This isn't some silly hoop you have to jump through. Clear and accurate reporting is a professional and sometimes legal requirement out there in the real world. It's what protects you, it protects the customer, and it protects the workshop.
So there you go. It's 5 separate steps, sure, but you can see how they all lock together, right? They're not just a checklist. They form one single professional mindset. It's a complete system. Confirm, strategize, find, use your tools right, and report.
When it all comes down to it, this is what you need to take away. What separates the amateur from the expert? It's not the size of their toolbox, it's the quality of their process. It is the fundamental difference between someone who just changes parts and someone who truly solves problems.
So, as you go forward, not just in this unit, but in your entire career, you have to ask yourself a very simple question. Are you going to be a parts fitter, or are you going to be a problem solver? The choice is yours.